So, my name is Elizabeth, and this is Dave, and
Hi.
you can introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Dave. Was born and raised Jewish, and I'm happy to do this interview for Elizabeth.
Okay, so question one is, who is Jesus to you?
Jesus to the Jewish people is just that he was a man. He existed, but we don't believe that he was the Son of God. He was just a great historical figure that did do a lot of good to help people.
And are you still waiting on the Messiah's resurrection?
Well, that really depends upon whether you are a conservative Jew or whether you are not a conservative Jew. If the conservative Jews do believe, and the Orthodox Jews do believe, that we're still waiting for the resurrection, less conservative Jews do not believe that.
And how do you think one gets to heaven?
You get to heaven by doing good things in your life, by living an honest and decent life and helping other people and being a good person.
What is your view on good works? Are they necessary for salvation?
They definitely are. God is going to look at you and how you lived your life, and if you do good things and help people and try and help your fellow man or fellow human, that's going to be viewed as good, and that's the best way of doing things if you want to have salvation.
And you mentioned before about the difference between conservative Jews and non-conservative. Are you a conservative Jew?
No, I would not consider myself to be a conservative Jew. I'm very much the opposite end of the spectrum. My grandparents were Orthodox Jews, very, very strict, and I had an Orthodox bar mitzvah. However, I am not. I consider myself to be very modern and open in that regard.
And do you think that following God's law is vital, and to what extent?
It really depends upon the person. I don't necessarily think you have to follow the law verbatim. I think generally speaking, you should live your life in a way that is good to others and helps other people. And if you do that, in my personal view, that's enough. There are Jews that believe you have to follow it word for word, though, very conservative Jews.
How do you celebrate the Passover as we celebrate Easter? Is it different?
Is Passover is a holiday. It's a happy time, and the word Passover comes from when God passed over the Jewish people's homes and did not harm them. So we're celebrating that time by feasting. We have food, and it's really a big celebration. And it takes place over several days. So there are usually 2 or 3 days of Passover, and we call it a Seder. Seder in Hebrew means meal, and the idea is to eat and to celebrate and be happy.
Because you believed God as one and reject Jesus as a God, what do you think about the Holy Spirit?
Really don't feel that there's a Holy Spirit in the same way that a non-Jew might believe that. As I said earlier, pardon me, we believe in the same God, therefore the Judeo-Christian ethic. It's the same God. However, the difference is that Jesus to us was just a man. He was a great man, but he was not a religious figure. He was not the Son of God. So the Holy Spirit is really something that's not addressed a great deal with Jews.
Okay, so last question. In this world, what is your opinion? Are most people choosing evil or good?
Well, unfortunately, in today's world, there is a lot of evil, and it seems like that's really what we hear about the most. However, I would have to think that the majority of people around the world are choosing to do some good. It's unfortunate that the ones that are choosing to do evil are overshadowing the majority of people. But I think most people out there in the world do try and do good over evil.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing
My
your
pleasure.
culture and religion.
My pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
Bye, Miss Harkey.